Welcome, Rebels, to another raw conversation. Today, I want to talk about copying others and external validation. I myself feel really overwhelmed today, so I thought I'm going to sit down and talk exactly about the problem of looking outwards rather than looking within for the answers. It is funny because I'm always about follow your intuition, listen to your gut, but it is so easy to forget about it. So maybe you have experienced that as well, where you have an idea and it feels good. Like the idea feels really good and you feel very confident about it. But then voices get in your head, whether this is internal voices or it's actual people. And minute by minute, day by day, your idea seems to be not as great anymore. So for me, this has been happening in the past week or so. I can get really obsessed with things because right now, one of my biggest drivers is to build my community on YouTube and create personal connection and become really good in storytelling. It's been incredibly insightful to be on this, to focus so much of my time to do exactly that. But it also has been very draining. And the draining comes from being obsessed with what I'm doing. I'm not actually doing any breaks or doing something else. I literally put everything on hold right now because when I want to understand something, I'm just like putting 200, 1,000% of my energy into it. And this can be great because I want a quantum jump, I don't want to waste time. I just want to get there. The journey, however, is the whole point of doing what we're doing anyway. But being impatient as I am, I just want to achieve results quickly. So what I've been doing in the past days is just analyzing so much, like the little details, it comes to the titles, for example, or rewriting copy. And I don't know if that is the perfectionist within me or if that is my startup mentality where you iterate, so which is a good thing to iterate. So you have that feedback loop where you put something out, you get feedback, and then you iterate. Now the problem is, for example, with a new YouTube channel, there isn't that much feedback, it's mainly crickets. So I do love crickets, but there isn't that much feedback. So there isn't actually that much to analyze. So what I've been doing probably wrong in the past days is to focus too much on that part rather than just continuing to create new content. I've been obsessing about what I already put out there, and that can become very draining. So maybe you have this experience or had this experience with something that you've been working on in your business. I would love to know. Let me know in the comments. And so, yeah, it's interesting. So the reason why I say also stop copying, or I didn't say stop copying, I'm saying stop copying now, in general, is especially when we're trying out new things and we have this big learning curve in front of us, we're easily persuaded to look outwards and we start copying other people because it works for them, so they must have figured it out. What we forget, though, is that they have worked on their craft. They have figured it out for themselves because it's the truest expression of them. Now, if we were to just, and this is, by the way, a thing on YouTube in general, because I think people really obsess with trends and the algorithm and what to do and what not to do. And somehow everyone forgets about being authentic. And then this is also a big question I had today, because it's such a interesting trap. The whole Google Analytics and writing titles for the algorithm or for keywords. It's the same thing. Like, this goes for all type of content creation. It goes for SEO, like in general, like writing blog posts or when you post on Instagram. It is so easy to fall into this trap of following trends, which creates a massive burnout, because what we're essentially doing is we're not listening to our gut anymore, into our intuition, but we're just running after something that somebody else said works, or maybe it worked for them, but it doesn't guarantee it works for us. So one of the key lessons here is to take a moment when and I'm sharing this with you, and I'm sharing this with myself as well right now, is when we find ourselves in this trap of copying others, following trends, listening to the external, not the internal, is to just like take a break, take a moment to center yourself again, begin listening to your intuition. A lot of times what helps me also, and I should have done this today, but I didn't, is go into nature and just take this break away from screens and technology and just really connect back to myself. And here we are. It's a very interesting journey. You probably, I don't know if you have heard one thing. So basically, I finished my day today, and I had a shower. And have you ever had that when you're in the shower, you get ideas or realizations? So it is quite funny, because all day I was working towards what will be my new podcast. What could I talk about? And getting all into the analytical mindset. And yet, in the shower, it came in like that. And it was about copying others and external validation. So here I am. What I also instantly saw when I thought this thought, or when this thought or idea came to me, was this book. So I have this book. Do you know this book? Steal Like an Artist. It's a really cool book. It basically talks about, it's been a while since I read this book, but it talks about how no idea is original, and you can unlock your creativity. I could actually read this to you right now, because why not? It's a reminder for me as well. So here at the back, it says, unlock your creativity, steal like an artist, number 1. Number 2, don't wait until you know who you are to get started. Yeah, that's a really good one. Should actually do a video on that one as well. 3, write the book you want to read. 4, use your hands. 5, side projects and hobbies are important. So true. 6, the secret, do good work and share it with people. 7, geography is no longer our master. 8, be nice. 9, be boring. And in brackets it says, it's the only way to get work done. And 10, creativity is subtraction. Oh gosh, now that's really interesting, because I will have to read this book again to really understand what is going on here. But I believe this book talks about that there are no original ideas. There is a potential. I'm completely wrong right now, and it actually doesn't say that. But what I do remember when I was creating art, painting, in my master class, when I learned how to paint with mixed media and oil, they talked about, as an artist, to find your own style, usually you copy other people, and then eventually, so you take different ideas from different people, and when you merge them together, you're kind of getting this new expression. So that's kind of how, as an artist, you can start out. So it is very natural to copy in the beginning when we start something new, because we don't have yet the experience. So it feels more attractive, inspiring, that's the word, inspiring to copy what we like. And the trap is, if we keep doing that rather than keeping connecting through copying and learning that skill, whatever it is, like in art, for example, just give a very plain and boring example, but let's say there's a new artist and she likes to paint abstracts, or she wants to paint abstracts, but she doesn't know how to. So she finds these inspiring artists that she likes the style of those artists. So she begins to copy them. Through that copying, she learns the skill. And now the crucial step is, once you learn the skill, whether it be painting or creating YouTube videos or creating branding or creating coaching offers, is to connect with your authentic self and find your inner voice. So we can see copying as learning a new skill, but then important is to connect with ourselves and not get lost in looking for external validation. Because when we look at copying, what I mean with external validation is the validation comes from two different points, actually. By me being inspired by somebody else and seeing that they are successful, whatever that means, we are validating them in what they're doing. So that already means it's something that feels like we should integrate in our own approach, whatever it is that we're doing. And then obviously there's the validation from others that, let's say, if it was the easiest way to explain it right now would be if it's a YouTube video. Let's say the YouTube video has 1,000, 1,000,000 views. So that's validation. There were other people out there that watched the video, so the video must be good because it was validated by others. So, and now we can get into the trap of trying to analyze, what did I do to get these views? And analyzing is actually a good thing. It's actually a step deeper than just looking at it and copying it one by one. If you look, I don't know if you're familiar with Mr. Beast. That is probably the best example right now on YouTube. If you look at Mr. Beast videos, there are, I wouldn't even know how many other YouTube channels there are that literally copy his style. Some more, others like to the T, like exactly the same videos, the same thumbnails, the same titles. And what happens is they're essentially a copy of somebody else's expression. Is this going to bring these people success? Maybe. But is it going to be fulfilling? And is it going to be sustainable? Probably not. Most likely what will happen if you're not fully connected to our own voice and our own expression, if you're doing things because we feel like we should be doing them, not because it brings us joy when we do them, then burnout, hello, here we are. It's not sustainable and it's not fulfilling. So yeah, sorry to break the news. If you like copying, you can copy. Just remember, once you've learned the skill or whatever it is that you need to learn, make sure you're fully tapping into your own voice. So, still like an artist. Hey, I can't fully remember, but I think it's probably in the same sort of universe of take something, be inspired by others, but make it your own. And I think that's probably one of the key messages here in this conversation. I feel like I need to learn to breathe again because I don't know if you noticed that. I don't even know if this comes across on this video right now, but my breathing is very flat at the moment. So let's all take a deep breath in together. Whew. Okay. I hope you enjoyed this rawness. Couldn't get more raw and unfiltered than today and every day. And I would love to know from you what you're working on and if you fell into the copy trap. And yeah, share your story with us in the comments. I am very, very hopeful that there's a good chance with consistency and showing up on a weekly basis that there will be a beautiful, wonderful community that we're all going to be part of. And I am building, working, creating towards this. So become part of this tribe. Still don't have a name for it, but community, tribe, pencil tribe. We don't know. Maybe it will eventually become more clear. But one thing I do remember, don't wait until you know who you are to get started. And this also reminds me of my previous video or my previous episode that I uploaded. Check this out. It's going to be linked right here somewhere. And it is exactly about that, getting started. I wish you a beautiful day and evening, no matter where you are. Remember, you're not alone. We are in this together, building a business that we love, that is fully an expression of our authentic self, that brings us love and connection and fulfillment. And I hope I'll see you next time. If you have not yet, subscribe for more raw, real, and personal insights.